You might have noticed that that's a new look for our thumbnails. The guest's name on top. Well, there's nothing else to tell you about this podcast except that you are about to have a good old time. So let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Segura. Yeah, dude.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Tom?
On very short notice, I hit you up yesterday. I have terrible news. On our podcast channel, the highest viewed episode is Bert Kreischer.
Oh, damn, that sucks, dude.
So I'm thinking,
how many views did it get?
Dude, on YouTube, he's over 700,000.
You know, he's drinking a gallon of Kool-Aid a day now, so that's we might not have him much longer. You know what I mean? So it's good.
Yeah, I heard about that. Why is he doing that?
I don't know. He said he brushes his teeth first thing around midday. So why does he do that? Why does he shower in the pool? What happened was I have one, right? Like it's a half gallon, and I thought every human being that you see with one of these has water in it. That's literally what I thought. And I've seen him with it, and I'm like, good for him. I just didn't say anything. And then we were doing a podcast, and I thought I saw something. I was like, the fuck is in there? And he was like, oh, Kool-Aid? And I was like, no. And then he was like, yeah, man. And I go, what, you drink a half gallon of Kool-Aid? And he goes, well, I try to drink 2 of these a day. I'm like,
I've been drinking Kool-Aid since I was 9.
you drink that much every day?
But when's the last time you drank Kool-Aid?
Probably like
years ago. It's
in high school when we were stoned as fuck. It's like,
oh, right. Yeah, that's I mean, of course, everyone's had it.
So let's get right into it. I am dying to know your philosophy when it comes to posting videos of guys shitting their balls out of their assholes on Twitter.
Look, man, I don't think twice about it, and I honestly, you know, when I've been posting stuff like that for years, like anything like outrageous that somebody said, like I post videos the way you've done stunts. Like I'm just like, yeah, man, this is insane. I'm gonna share it, and it always upsets a certain segment of follow. Like they'll let you know, they'll unfollowed, and they'll be like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, look, if this is weeding out weak people, then it's just, to me, it's a sign to keep doing it. Like if something is that alarming, I want to share it. The fact, look, let's examine what this guy did. He put his own balls into his own asshole and then pushed them out. And then I learned that he actually did this on New Year's when you drop the ball.
Oh,
nice. It's it's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is, and I had already seen it. It was, I believe, Eric Andre sent me this video, or however I saw it, and I immediately tried it. Tell me you didn't try it yourself.
Oh yeah, I just don't have the hang. I mean, so anyway, I had that guy on my podcast. It comes out tomorrow.
Oh,
the
wow!
Guy who did it. And
nice.
I was.
This will come out this Thursday, so it'll be available.
Oh, perfect. This will be all right. So he, of course, I had a million questions, and he's like, "Yeah, you gotta be blessed with like some natural ball hang, and then you can kind of work on stretching it a little more." But his sack, if he lays down, it basically almost touches his asshole. So he's a real fucking soldier, man. Yeah, he really.
I mean, I've got the hang. I can get my balls up to my asshole, but when it comes to actually jamming them in there, that hurts.
I imagine it would. I mean, to me, I don't know about how you feel about your balls being, played with or whatever. I like a light tug, but anything more than that, I'm like, whoa, hey, fucking chill out. Like I'm not the type that wants it super aggressive with the balls, And I have kids, and I have little kids. When you hold your kids, their legs are always swinging, like grazing your nuts, and you're like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I see white. I fucking start sweating when they just graze your nuts. So I can't imagine what it would be like to push them in your asshole. This dude is such a savage.
I'm am willing to bet that you don't know where this conversation is headed. And before you find out, I'm going to tell you something really important about your asshole and my absolute favorite product that I've been introduced to by this podcast. It's called HelloTushy.com, and it operates like a pressure cleaner for your butthole after you poop. Because let me admit, I used to be one of those people who just used toilet paper and then walked around like it wasn't a big problem. But secretly, I had to go back to the bathroom just to be sure, and I would wipe again and I'd see stuff on the paper. But not anymore. Thanks to HelloTushy.com. It's a bidet, okay? Now, there's a little knob on the side, and what it does, you turn it, and it sends water blasting into your asshole. I'm gonna do it right now. Yeah, oh yeah. Now, I can turn it up a little more, but I will never be able to turn it up all the way because the power is incredible. And when I get done, that's plenty. Now, there's nothing to wipe. I mean, sure, I can wipe just for the satisfaction of knowing that there's going to be nothing to see on the paper, which I really do enjoy. Yeah. See? Nothing. So there it is. On top of making your butthole healthier so you don't have to worry about stuff like hemorrhoids and colon cancer, at least not as much as the other people with the toilet paper. It's also a great way to save the world. I mean, look, I got toilet paper. It's basically for decoration because I don't need it. I have HelloTushy.com. And if you go to HelloTushy.com/SteveO, you're going to get 10% off your order. And I'm telling you, your butthole is going to thank me. So one more time, 10% off your order if you go to HelloTushy.com/SteveO. And you're welcome.
He will put his balls in his ass and then get fucked with them in his asshole.
Oh wow.
Shit.
He sent me some other videos that are pretty cool that I'll send you.
Right.
Where you'll be like, wow, he can really do a lot with that thing.
I would love to see them. Now, the main reason that I ask, as fascinating as it is, and I agree with, like just letting it ride with shocking stuff. But, like, if you were to put that on Instagram, if you were to put that on Facebook, what makes Twitter so different that you can just get away with that and nobody's outraged?
Dude, I'm glad they're allowing it. I mean, I know that that's where, like, the adult performers have thrived. Like, all of them have stories about just even, like, the women posing in thongs, and they're like, yeah, Instagram just deleted my account. I had fucking 2 million followers, and they just deleted it because they posed in a thong or something. I don't know. I mean, there's so many, like, different points of view on the censorship and the, the standards of the practices. And ultimately, we don't get to say much because these are privately held companies that can do what they want. It doesn't feel consistent, though. I'll tell you that. It does not feel consistent. And I'm not just talking about this outrageous stuff. It's like, I had a fucking video that Instagram took down and sent me. Have you ever posted something where they go, your video or your post
violated our community guidelines?
Yeah. Dude, I posted a highlight because when we do we do a bunch of podcasts, we'll do like a 20, 30-second promo, right? Like, we'll pick a moment from the show and it'll be like new episode, and it's a 30-second promo. So I had one for my Spanish podcast. So the post is all in Spanish. And I'm on the phone with my mom, and I'm reading her slang from Venezuela. My mom's from Peru, so I'm teaching her, this is how you say these things. This is the way, the expression, the slang in Venezuela. And as I'm reading it to her, she's reacting. She's like, oh my, it's all in, like, we're talking in Spanish. And I say it to her, and she's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I go, yeah. And she goes, this must be your good friend that sent you this. And she says it in the masculine term, right? Like amigo. And I say, no, it's a woman. And she goes, whew, prostitute. She actually says prostitute. And I die laughing that my mom assumes that a prostitute emailed me these sayings. That's it. That's the promo. And Instagram, after like a month and like it was up for a month and a half, took it down. And I was like, why? I had my reps reach out to their contact and they were like, they can't tell you why. I'm like, okay. I mean, that kind of shit enrages me. That's, well, hey guys, why is that a violation? Guy, not only is it enraging that they take it down, but that there's zero explanation. Like, what is it that happened in here that's not okay?
Right.
They don't tell you.
It's always the case with me where it's like weeks or months later, and then all of a sudden I see that there's been a violation.
Yeah.
When the bottle cap challenge was wildly popular,
Yeah.
I filmed an incredible video where I kicked off the cap. It was all spinning all red, but I did it with my dick, and
which is awesome.
Well, thank you. And I very carefully blurred it so there was nothing to see. But then it lasted for weeks or months, and then it came down. And it broke my heart because that was the most liked thing I had ever put on Instagram.
And I bet, though, it's like a concerted effort of an accumulation of people hitting report.
Yeah, report.
And I could only assume, like with yours, obviously, it's people, saying, being fucking assholes about it and just being like, well, yeah, I know that he did it with his dick, even if you can't, which is just so lame. With mine, I had to assume that it's like this Venezuelan contingency that was basically reporting that I'm calling Venezuelan women prostitute. Like, it's so silly. And then to think that the people who work at Instagram were to see those, and what is it, an algorithm where it hits a certain number and they just go strike it? Or did somebody watch that and agree with that, which is more insane to me,
Right.
Well, it's crazy. Like, some companies do that. We were selling merch over in Canada, and then the next day they shut us all down and they kept our money. And I called and I said, hey, like, what's the deal? It was like Shopify. And I said, you shut down all of our money, and they took it. And they said, oh, we can't tell you why, but we're holding on to it for 180 days to see what the deal is with this. And again, they couldn't tell you what the problem was, and they just kept all your money.
I mean, I cannot think of something like more infuriating than people doing that and then going, and we can't tell you why. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, we could, but we don't feel like it.
Yeah, but see, that's the other side of that is like, no, somebody there can. Somebody there speaks the same language that I speak, and they could fucking tell me what this is.
Right.
They're looking at the Y on the computer. They just don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Have you had immigrant? Like, have you had what's it called? Customs flex on you in where I've been flexed on the hardest is Canada.
For sure.
I would not be allowed in Canada under any circumstances if I did not have a Canadian passport.
You have a Canadian passport?
Yeah, because my mom was born in Canada, so that makes me Canadian. And my dad was born in America, so that makes me American. And I was born in England, so that makes me British.
You have 3 passports?
3 passports.
That's
all
the
totally
shit.
valid. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But back to this thing with the Twitter and the, I'm particularly just focused on this issue because, as I might have told you the last time I saw you, I've got this exciting new comedy special, and what I did with it was to edit footage into it of the stories I'm telling in the act. So, sure enough, I'm on stage, but as I'm telling these stories, you see the footage of the stories that I'm telling, and a lot of it is pretty explicit stuff, like you see my wiener from time to time. And as I go about figuring out how to market it, how to promote it, the question becomes okay, where is it appropriate and how is it appropriate to disseminate footage of my wiener? And this is particularly a touchy topic these days. So, one thing I thought of, have you heard of the Community app? This is the thing where the celebrities say, text me, as if it's going to be some personal conversation.
I have it, and I fucking They stopped asking me to use. They were like texting me daily, like you should send a message to your fans,
Right.
and I was like, okay. But no, that's
Right.
great. Go ahead.
I mean, I think it'd be very useful for touring because it does
Yes.
break everything down geographically. It's like, hey guys, I'm coming to your town. Like, I see a lot of value in that, but we're not touring now. So the only reason I signed up for this community app was, oh, maybe I can put shit on there and text it to people directly that isn't saved for Instagram. So I sign up with the community. I got my point person, and I fucking share with him this caption from my Instagram post where I'm about to announce my community phone number. The guy says, yeah, thumbs up, man, go for it. The caption read, if you are over 18 and won't be upset by really naughty stuff that I can't post on here because they'll kick me off, then shoot me a text and I'll send that crazy shit to you direct. Right? And I converted.
Yeah.
I converted. I mean, I got like 42,000 cell phone numbers out of that one post. So, like, off to a pretty good start. And it has been confirmed. Everybody who sends me a text on the community app will get some wildly fucked up shit before it becomes public and the rest of the world knows about it. So go ahead and shoot me a text at 323-577-6952 and expect some wild shit in the next week or two. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to ask you about shitting ball, because you're just like, I mean, there's got to be some people under 18 who follow you on Twitter who you now...
See, I never thought of that. I never thought of that, and I never do. I just post, and then I get like that day that I posted that. One of the first comments I saw was easiest unfollow of all time.
I love, and it's not your only like risque thing. I remember who was the guy who's sitting there and he's just got the gigantic black wiener.
Yeah, you were selling T-shirts to raise money for his funeral or whatever it was.
That's right. That was the what's his name, Wood. That dude Wood. And but the shirt was it's just his face. But what happened was by then everybody had become familiar with the memes, so his face was like enough of a nod to people who knew, which turned out to be a lot of people, because that meme was so widely shared, and it was just his face, and it said "wash your hands."
Right.
We were able to pay for his headstone and send his kids money too.
Was this a guy? Was it a guy who died of COVID?
No. That dude, he
died of having a large cock.
He actually died. He had a heart attack, completely unrelated to any of this, in 2016. And I like other people because now like the meme got played out. It's kind of like, but when the quarantine started, remember like every day. I don't know if you were on any like text threads where like your friends were like texting the memes of that dude. It was kind of like everybody was excited to see what the new variation of the meme was of that dude. And I started to go like, who is this guy? And then Vice wrote an article on him that sort of hinted at who he was. I contacted the photographer who took that famous picture of him, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction of the family to try to figure this whole thing out.
I love that was a professional. I love that was a professional photo shoot.
Oh yeah,
like the very prestigious photographer who shot that iconic photo.
That iconic photo. I mean, oddly enough, it sort of feels like it is an iconic photo now.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, but that dude, it was. It's one of those things where when you get to know the real story, it changes everything. I don't know if you feel that way, where like, I don't know, you see an image of somebody. It's like when someone's famous and you just know like the fame, like, whatever, LeBron James or Charlize Theron. And they're like, it's just like, it's a name, it's an image. But then if you meet them and hang out with them, you're like, oh, and it changes your whole perspective on the person. You go, it's not just an actor or it's like, I talked to him about fucking fishing or something, you change. So this guy, we all know him as like sitting on the edge of on the bed with his huge dick. But then, I talked to his fiance for fucking an hour, and then then Vice actually did this follow-up story where they kind of like covered like who he was in depth. And then now you see the meme and it just makes me sad. You know, I'm like, God damn it. You know, because now I feel like I know the story more.
And he was a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He did the nude thing one time.
What was the purpose of doing the nude thing?
He was going to lose the house that he grew up in that was passed down to him. He couldn't pay the mortgage. So it was like a quick way to make like whatever, a couple grand and keep paying the mortgage on it. So it had like this very sad kind of, you know,
was it for like big dicks fucking?
Yeah, it was like big gay dicks or something like that. Like some shit like that. It was the photographer who's in that piece
introduced you to the guy who shits out his balls.
I wish. I know a lot of this shit. No, the photographer said that he used to see the big black dude at the gym, and he said he got friendly with him, and then one day, you know, asked him to do it. He said that guy, the big dude, was super like shy and uncomfortable with doing it. Like he could tell, you know, it wasn't like his regular work. But yeah, I don't know, man.
He looked pretty comfortable in the picture, as I recall.
And the picture, yeah, he looks like he's fine in the picture.
Right. So you've never had any like for all the things you put on Twitter that are just like wildly adult only. There's never even been a hint of consequences or concerns. I
mean, I've received enormous backlash from people following me,
right?
Who are just like, you know, I hate you. I want to put bleach in my eyes. I'm unfollowing you. What the fuck is this? Why would you? You know, all like comments and stuff. But I always think of them as, you know, disposable, and I try to move on.
It seems a little bit like it's on Twitter because for whatever reason they're okay with it.
Dude, you can search like any type of ridiculous hardcore search term on Twitter, and you will find multiple accounts that's all they post. You know, and Twitter doesn't. I don't think they restrict.
Right.
Anything, as far as I know. But Instagram, of course, which is owned by Facebook, has a way different set of guys. Ironically, it's Facebook that has been in all that hot water for deciding that, like, they will not call out fake claims in political ads. And you're just like, what do you... They're like, these are knowingly false. And they're like, we're not going to get involved.
Right.
But don't
Twitter
you dare...
will.
Twitter will.
And Twitter will say, hey, guys, the president's bullshitting you.
Yeah, and Twitter will say, like, yeah, if you want to put your balls in your ass and shit them out, we're cool with that, too.
Right, but don't fucking lie to us. Yeah.
I feel like you guys have the glasses going. I just picked up some glasses. I have various ones. I'm going to try them on. These are my 1960s FBI agent. You let me know what you think.
All right. I like it.
Right?
This
is a civil rights violation.
You look like you're at the shooting range.
You think so?
You got the headgear on and the eyeglass.
Oh, right.
It's very who shot JFK somehow.
God, you guys are so much sharper now that I have these on.
That's right. Do you actually require prescription glasses?
For reading and for screens. They're much better for screens for me. I don't need them to like drive or anything, but walk around. But yeah.
I'm prescription on top for distance and a little bit of magnification on bottom for reading.
Oh, wow.
And I can't fucking read. I can't see shit without it. It's alarming.
That a bifocal?
It's progressive. Yeah, progressive bifocal.
Yeah.
Wow. So, totally random question, but what's up with this with Karen? Where did Karen come from?
Costco Karen.
Karen is just the new word for asshole?
It is. It's the new name for white asshole, which there's plenty of out there. It is kind of a perfect name to describe what they're talking about, you know? Like, I mean, it's we always used to say that, you know, it's the, can I talk to the managers here, right? And then that's a lot of words. So, like, what name best embodies I'd like to speak to the manager? Feels like it is Karen.
Right. Okay.
I mean, Karen's kind of perfect for that, isn't it?
I suppose. And when
Well-
you say I'd like to talk to the manager, that calls to my mind, don't you know who I am? Could that be boiled down into one?
That's a different person.
Right, but who do you name that guy?
Right. We should name. Do you
I
know
think it's
who
a
I
guy
am?
though, for sure. It's not
Yeah.
a girl.
I know.
That is a very fucking male thing.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
know, dude. I know, dude.
He's like
Reed-
Lumberg on the
Dude, Reese Witherspoon was, I want to say. That
Yes, you're right.
Right. I mean, dude.
She said that to the police, which is the highest level of saying that.
Right. That's up
You
there. with-
usually say that to like the fucking hostess at Ruth's Chris, but she said it to a cop.
Right.
Like, do you
It's-
fucking know who I am?
Not to get like onto politics, but do you have any concern that the actual profession of police officer is just so unattractive now that we're actually gonna just not have cops?
I don't think we're not gonna have cops, but it definitely is not an attractive position. I mean,
Right.
I think it would be fascinating to see the stats in like 6 months or a year about like how many people in this year
Went
just
to the
like
academy.
signed up for the academy. Yeah. It's like
Right.
I'm sure there's a standard number every year, and that
Right.
like next year they'll be like, oh, that's down 70%.
Right,
it's
kind
gonna
of like naming your baby Karen. It's just-
Karen's got to be out,
right,
dude.
things that fell off in 2020. And,
Other thing that, dude,
That's
think
a good.
about
That's a good category.
there's got to be a couple cool women named Karen who are like, God damn it.
I
Like,
have an old friend named Karen. You know, I've actually never known an unlikable Karen. I don't think I've only known
Yeah, no,
Karens to be
it's-
sweet.
I mean, I think of Goodfellas, you know, Karen.
Right. Another thing that fell off, I think, is kids signing up, or parents signing up their children for Little League football with all the CTE stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think that football and like cops are two things that I.
Football's down. Baseball's in trouble.
Oh yeah,
Baseball's
what,
in real.
why is
Well,
that?
because baseball's been on a decline for decades. Just in now, you know, if you go to early 1900s, even through the 40s, 50s, 60s, that's why they call it America's pastime. You know, it's like people love baseball in this country. It went on a steady decline, which some people kind of correlate with the way that it went on a crazy incline in Latin America. You know, it became like more like the sport thrives elsewhere because a lot of our best athletes stopped playing baseball. Like kids who are
Why
like
is that?
bad. It became less cool, less popular. Like when a kid was a great athlete in, let's say, the 90s, and he had his choice of sports to play, he just wasn't going for baseball. Like he was going to play football. He was going to play basketball. You know, even now it's like, what is like an elite athlete who is fucking 14 playing? Chances are
Basketball is going to be the ticket.
oh, basketball is the shit. Like the only thing about basketball is you also, for the most part,
Want to
have
be kind of
blessed,
tall.
be like that frame. You have to be a monster. Like you have
Yeah.
to be, oh, I'm 6'10", which is like you're such an anomaly at that point anyway.
Right.
But yeah, football has been on the. I don't know. I feel like I've always felt like, even though I'm sure statistically numbers are down, I always thought that the apprehension behind Little League football is kind of ridiculous to me. You know, I'm somebody that played football from 4th grade through 12th grade, and you know, when you're playing with like so many kids, I'm saying like when the pool of talent is so big, you rarely are in a game where you're getting fucked up by other
Right.
people like you do at high level sports. You
The
know?
counter argument to that is that at that young age, your brain is still undeveloped, or much more like.
Yes, I hear that argument, but my thing to that is like, dude, of all the games I played in from like I said, from 4th grade on, it's like I could tell you that most games you don't have holy shit contact in
Right.
4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, because that savage like anomaly player, he's not even in every county. Where
Right.
you go like most kids in 5th grade, they walk up and they go like this, and like they barely wrap up.
The offensive line and the defensive line are still gonna collide every play.
They are.
So
But
there's an argument against it.
But what amount of force? Like
That's true. But we can agree that football's going away. Now, are we worried about gymnastics?
what about?
Like, because did you see the Athlete A film on Netflix?
I turned it off because I was trying to wind down, and about 20 minutes in, I was like, I kind of feel like crying, so I think I'm gonna turn this off.
I mean, dude, it's just a well produced, like really compelling documentary, which I think signals a real decline in the future of gymnastics.
But dude, have you ever read the stats? I mean, this is a totally like that whole story is just unbelievably depressing.
Yeah.
The level of not just abuse, but the neglect involved, where they were just like, just put that in a fucking file cabinet. But have you ever read about the number of concussions and injuries in soccer, in like little league soccer in this country?
Oh, really?
I wonder, because I know that rugby's actually pretty safe, and I think that's because they're not wearing helmets at all. I think that there's a strong argument for football having been considerably more safe back in the day when it was just like a fucking stupid leather fucking sleeve over your head. Because
I don't know. I've heard that.
It's exactly like boxing is way more fucking dangerous than MMA, because with the small MMA glove, you're going to injure your hand if you punch something. But with that big old fucking boxing glove, who cares? And it's so heavy that's why boxing's killing people and not MMA.
Boxing has 12-ounce gloves, and yeah, you could fuck somebody, and their hands are super wrapped and everything.
And the comparison, the parallel is that the 12-ounce boxing glove really does damage to a man's head, much like that bulky ass NFL football helmet, whereas the MMA glove, you're not seeing all of this shit.
A lot of football injuries to the head are completely avoidable when you break down the technique that caused these injuries. A lot of them.
Nobody's leading with their head in rugby.
If you play football the way that like you're coached to play football, you would have a fraction of the injuries. What's interesting though, if you look at the soccer stuff, is every year people die playing soccer, and every year people have innumerable concussions playing little league and high school soccer, because they get kicked in the head, elbowed in the head, kneed in the head. They get fucked up, and it's never reported, like it's never the headline story. I mean, the Real Sports has done a profile on it, the HBO show, that like there's a lot of injuries playing soccer, but it's not as salacious as the headlines for football.
So where do I find this soccer injury documentary? That sounds great.
Just Google it. There's tons of information about it. But I'm saying Real Sports, the HBO series, has profiled it before. So there's a whole episode about that.
It was crazy. They're passing kicked balls 50 yards down the field with their head. It's like it's just traveling.
That's not the. I'm not hearing Tom complain about that. Speaking of,
it's the collisions. The collisions are what cause it.
And what a bro Tom is. Like, we haven't even talked about his comedy special Ball Hog on Netflix.
Guys, there's new glasses on.
Of course, I will mention that in the intro to the podcast, your Netflix special Ball Hog.
Yes.
But is Netflix telling you, like, they're pretty guarded about, like, analytics and stuff, like, do they tell you, like, hey, man, like, good retention, like, this many views?
This was the first time. I've done 4, this is my 4th special with them. Wow. And they've never, the most I ever got before was like, it's doing great. Like, is there anything else? And they're like, nope, good job. And you're like, great. Thanks, man. That's it. Literally, that's it. That is it. And you're like, you can't tell me anything? No. And this time, They gave me numbers. They gave me retention rates. They gave me. They said that in another few months we will do a call where they will tell me regions. Like they'll tell me areas where, where maybe areas that I'm ignoring. Like they did tell me. Sorry, they told me some countries already where they're like, you should be considering doing a tour in these countries. I'm talking internationally. And
That's
then
cool.
they tell you some surprise ones. They'll be like, you might be surprised to hear this, but it did really well here. And then they tell you the opposite. They'll be like, you know where no one's watching your shit? So they'll tell you that too. It's pretty cool.
You mentioned something about Spanish, and with the Instagram post of your mom. Do you record a Spanish version of the special as well?
I'm doing a special in Spanish for Netflix that I was supposed to shoot in the fall. That obviously we have to push it now. But I'm gonna do one. I guess hopefully sometime next year.
Yeah, who's it? Felipe Esparza? Is that right? The guy who does like the same taping. I think he does. Or back to back anyway. Does one English and then Spanish.
Yeah, he's probably doing that. An English and Spanish night of the special. Yeah.
When you have these different international regions, does that mean that they're overdubbing a stand-up comedy special into like, Kazakhstan?
No. It's all subtitles.
Pisser.
Yeah, like so Netflix, when you deliver a show or a special, will spend like, I don't know what it is, 8 weeks or something, doing translations and subtitles into like some insane like 112 languages or something.
Right. I just actually, with my YouTube channel, I just invested in getting subtitles generated for Italian, Portuguese, English, German. I think, did we do Chinese too?
That's
no,
smart.
because YouTube's not in China. It's banned.
That's right. That's right.
That would be awesome, though, if you were like, and my biggest investment was in Mandarin and Cantonese. and then right now he just told you, like, oh, YouTube doesn't work.
Yeah. So now, like, of course, we're both touring comedians. Like, you're just, like, big theater guy. I just made the leap to theaters. I found out, like, the same week we got shut down.
Nice. Feels
Yeah,
good, right?
it's pretty cool. But what are you doing business-wise? Of course, you're a very prolific podcaster. I'm sure that. Do you have any other hidden revenue streams that are thriving in the pandemic?
I mean, I've done. Let's see. There's all the podcasts. There's obviously like the merchandise business. I signed a book deal, so that's
Nice.
a book thing, and then we pitched an animated show that we have 2 offers on, so we're kind of negotiating on that.
Who's we?
Christina and I.
Oh,
my
good.
wife and co-host.
Yeah, lots of love to her. She's so much
Yes.
fun. I
She's
just
a lot of
followed
fun.
her on Instagram.
I'll let her know.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing is like something gets taken away and you go like, I got to figure something else out, so.
Sure.
That's it.
Right.
That's it, man.
I know that Scott, his ears perked up when you said merch. Like, how do you do your fulfillment on the merch side of things?
Well, we hire a company to handle the fulfillment.
Ooh,
We don't like to hear that.
You're hiring someone to collect all the data. They got the whole email list.
They have a humongous email list.
That's your
email list.
data, and
I
they're
know.
stealing it.
I
Plus,
know.
they're taking all the money for them. Or they're taking what do you call
Do
it?
they do like a licensing deal? Do they say like, "Dude, we'll take care of everything. We'll just cut you in a percentage of what we
And
sell"?
they give themselves a huge percentage plus all the data, and the data's worth way more.
The data is definitely worth more. No, to me, it's like, well, it's about whether or not I'm going to I'm going to have to outsource it in some way. Like I'm, obviously I'm not going to do it. So it's
Right.
it's either like, do I invest in setting up that, fulfillment myself with another company, build my company to do it, or do I outsource it to somebody else?
See, I've got Scott, and all I can say is sweet, sweet OCD.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole other deal. But if you have like an assistant, or if you have somebody like, and you want to have them reach out to me, like I can walk them through it and help them out.
It's pretty simple.
It's
Really?
it's not as hard as you think. I would love to offer my services free of charge to teach whoever you have, because it just gets me to the core of all these companies that like reach out to people and they're like, dude, like we'll take care of you, like we'll do everything, and they're just gathering hundreds of millions of emails.
And just to in layman's terms, it's really quite simple as a fulfillment house, which is just linked up to Shopify. You know, it's and you manage it all on an app. You know, he's on with the fulfillment house quite a bit, but you just have to make that connection between Shopify and the fulfillment house, and
it's all automated the rest of the way, and you just keep everything.
It's very simple.
Really?
Yeah. It's so simple.
And you mentioned merch like it's a good size, you know, percentage of the revenue. Like, how often do you come up with new shit and put it out?
Well, we've done it different ways. You know, in the past, we've done things where it's like, here's a new thing. Let's put out this new thing, like this one item. And then another approach we've done is like develop, let's say, 6, 8, 10 items, drop them all at once, and basically break that up and do it again after a while. You know what I mean? Like let those new items go, see what's a hit, what's a dud kind of thing. Like basically like the same way I would approach writing jokes, right? Like you go and you're like, this killed, this didn't. So we've gone both ways before, but yeah, it's significant numbers, man.
Dude, dope glasses.
Huh?
Dope glasses. Yeah,
these are dope.
Those are dope. I don't think. Sorry. What about like charitable causes? Is there anything that you're particularly fired up about getting behind?
I mean, I've donated to Starlight Children's Foundation a number of times. You know, they take care of like kids. Like they're an organization that their whole thing is to make like kids that are in hospitals have like basically a more comfortable stay. They buy VR sets for them. They get them like, instead of like those standard gowns that you get, they'll get them like, they'll do cool ones with like cartoon characters or sports teams, and they'll put on like activities for like sick kids. So I've donated to them a number of times.
We gotta ask every guest that and put their charity link in the video description.
Starlight Children's Foundation. They're the shit, man. They're awesome.
Starlight Children's Foundation, and find their link in the video description below of this video. And watch Tom Segura's 4 different Netflix specials. God, it makes me jealous to say that. and share this video so that it can fucking like beat Bert Kreischer, for God's sakes.
Yeah, please. Please, that guy doesn't even fucking brush his teeth. When you wake up, you take a leak, right?
I take a leak many times throughout the night.
Sure.
It's upsetting.
But like when you're like I'm up.
Once I'm up, I wake up without teeth. I got like
God damn it.
I got this little fucking thing, and then I go and I take my vitamins, my B12 under my tongue, my what do you call it, psychiatrist pill, my antacid for acid reflux, and my vitamin D. Swallow it down, brush my teeth, and then pop in my teeth, and I'm off.
Why don't you wait like until midday to brush your teeth?
Because in case you come into contact with somebody, you don't have shitty breath.
Right. What I want to know is why is it a societal fucking taboo to tell a motherfucker when they got bad breath?
That's a real question. I know some people that are like, it's seriously
right.
And here's the thing: like a couple of them are friends,
right?
And I still feel like I feel like you got to be like so close like I would say it to Bert. I would say it to my wife. I would say it to
we have a pact that if ever there's any of that shit going on, that we fucking have made a solemn oath to say something.
Yeah.
But let's be clear. There's different kinds of bad breath. There's the kind of bad breath like, okay, maybe ate something, maybe something's, but then there's that fucking really malicious bacteria, which no amount of brushing is ever going to make the fucking odor go away. I remember when I was a kid, my mom in the mornings would say, "Oh God, your fucking breath is awful." I'd say, "Mom, I just brushed my teeth." I wasn't even a kid. I was like 19. I was fucking
34.
I was like, "Mom, I just brushed my teeth." She's like, "I don't care. You're fucking." But one time I got in the van with the Jackass guys, and Wee Man says, "Oh, SteveO, your breath." And then Noxo said, "Saying SteveO has bad breath is like saying Wee Man is short." It's all the time, and like I didn't understand, but you gotta floss. That's the thing.
So wait, was your breath? Your breath was just always.
I had bacteria in my mouth that brushing wasn't gonna get it out of there. You got it when you have. So the way to do it, if we could ever muster up the balls to tell somebody about this odor in their mouth, is to say, hey, like I think that you have an odor in your mouth that you're not aware of, and the way to get rid of it is to floss. Smell the floss, and if it's gnarly, then keep flossing until you can't smell it anymore.
Wow. And then now you don't have as much shit breath?
I don't. Yeah. Now I'm like, dude. I finally fucking figured it out. Thank God.
The only time I feel comfortable with like a dude who I'm not like close with saying that would be if he was like, if he was telling me he was about to like go talk to a chick, like he was like,
right.
Then I'd be like, yo, pop some gum in your mouth, dude. That's it. It's like because I know that I'm actually like helping him in this situation. But if we're just like chilling, it does feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's like it's taken like you're insulting, No,
there's a solution to this. Is they had this problem a couple years ago on the Howard Stern show, and they were looking up like how to tell somebody. Colgate has an anonymous program where you can send like a care package to somebody's house, and it's like totally anonymous, and they're like, hey, you have bad breath. Like, here's simple steps on how to use it to, like, floss your teeth, but, like, somebody told us about you, and we're just here to help you. And it's totally, like...
Wow. When did you hear that?
I think it was on the Howard Stern show, because they had some guy call in.
I remember that story, but I don't remember the Colgate program.
Yeah, and I think Gary looked it up, and he's like, well, I think...
So funny. It's like, hey, dude, can I get your home address?
I'm going to send you some Amazon packages.
Yeah.
Now I feel like, though, if somebody gets it from, like, because of me, they'll be like, oh, I saw that SteveO podcast. That's definitely you that sent it to me.
Right. I mean,
oh, no, that wasn't me, man.
Right. Plus, they're definitely going to see this because...
Well, yeah, this is going to get 800,000 views and surpass Bert, so yeah, it's going to be a fucking...
I know. I mean, dude, like, honestly, like, even though I hit you up just yesterday, I haven't been able to wait to get you on because I think, well, shit, if Bert Kreischer's number one, then Tom Segura is going to be a fucking murderer. It's going to be a murderer.
Hey, we'll see. This could fucking bomb, man. Let's just hope for the best. You never know.
I mean, I think that the thing that here, and I'll let you go after this, but I want to confess that that before this channel was dedicated to podcasts, it was what I referred to as my second channel, and I would put up videos which were like more on brand. So when I switched over to podcasting, the algorithm was very healthy. It was like, all the content was super well received. And then once I got into podcasting, it's like an hour long. People are clicking away a little bit, then the performance did go somewhat down. So we're back on the hunt to get up there. But a crusher's a crusher, dude, and I think that you're gonna really help the whole thing.
Well, that's good. The other thing is, like, I don't know how often you're posting, but
once a week.
If you're doing that podcast once a week, dude, the audience will come.
The audio side's building. I think that we're averaging around like 400,000 impressions per podcast.
That's great. What are you talking about? That's great.
Good.
You have ads on your shows?
Yeah, we do an ad read, 1 or 2.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, right on, brother. Dude, I appreciate you so much, Tom.
Dude, I appreciate you, but I want to tell you that your appearance on your Mom's House podcast was an absolute joy. I felt like I learned so much about you. I even told you, I always thought, I was like, this guy's just some fucking psycho lunatic. And then having a podcast with you and getting to get to know you and learn how your mind works and how everything is so much more like methodical and thoughtful. It was really eye-opening, It was really eye-opening. So I appreciate you, man. I'm a big fan.
Well, hey, likewise, man. Likewise, and it was an honor. It was a treat. I really enjoyed that, and I appreciate it, dude. Big thanks to Tom Segura, and of course, even bigger thanks to you for hanging in there and listening until the very end. I'm just super grateful for you guys. You're the street team, man, and let me know that when you shoot a text. Actually, street team, I can go through this community app and like pick out, isolate keywords. So if you text hashtag street team to that number, I'll give it to you again. It's 323-577-6952. And my street team people, this is fun, man. Text just hashtag street team. And then I'll have a whole group of just you guys. And I'll make you guys first. Fuck yeah. Cool, man. Stoked. Thanks, everyone.